Hey everybody, Josh Sigurdson, World Alternative Media here, and of course we're joined by author and economic analyst here at WAM, John Sneisen, and I figured I'd go into a little story here because it's just so insane, the immigration practices, trying to get into the United States, trying to do simple tasks with over the borders, it just gets so futile and annoying and stupid, and I wanted to go into this article here from the Financial Post, which says, I'm purely an investor. Vancouver businessman banned for life from United States for marijuana investments, and as the article goes into, a Vancouver businessman banned for life from entering the United States over his investments in American marijuana companies says he plans to seek a waiver that permits him to cross the border. Canadian Sam Znaimer said he was recently denied entry at a Washington state border crossing by officials who said his investments in U.S. marijuana companies make him ineligible to enter the country. And I quote, I spent 4.5 hours at the border station, and at the end of that whole process, I was told that I'd been permanently banned from entering the US, he said in an interview. Immigration lawyer Len Saunders said he's heard about a dozen similar cases recently where Canadians have been denied entry to the United States because of their connections to the marijuana industry. And I quote, I'm getting panicked phone calls from Canadian companies who are concerned about their staff being denied entry and liability issues or about themselves because they are senior executives, said Saunders, a Canadian whose law practice is based at Blaine, Washington. And I quote, you might as well be doing business with Pablo Escobar, immigration lawyer Len Saunders said. Saunders says he tells Canadians working with American marijuana companies not to cross the border. As he said, you might as well be doing business with Pablo Escobar, selling cocaine in the U.S., he said, adding marijuana is still a so-called Schedule I substance in the U.S., defined by having no medical use and a high potential for abuse. And, you could say a lot of things, when I was younger, having abused it. I don't know if you'd call it abuse. I think it turned out somewhat all right. But what I find really crazy about this all is that, looking at Jeff Sessions, looking at the way he's treated cannabis in the United States.
That's why my point of view.
Yeah, it's so crazy because, in the end, victimless crime. Second of all, it's not a crime in like half of the U.S. states. And third of all, it's a U.S. marijuana company that he's invested in, and he's in Canada, but he's investing in the American company. Then he comes over a line in the sand or in the mountains, I guess you could say, with Washington and BC, and he's stopped from entering the country. I can't imagine how insanely stupid this is because, it's the same old nonsense when it comes to crossing over from Canada to the US. There are so many problems. There's so many hidden laws. Then there's a whole bunch of, laws that you see written in, the news about going over the border that isn't even true. It's so confusing. And in the end, it's a bunch of Canadians walking or driving over a line in the sand. It's just so absurd. This isn't private property. This is social contract. Madness. Madness, I tell you. What do you think, John?
Well, I think it's just stupid with borders anyways and what they're doing to people, especially with the different laws and so on. You can move from one place to another and then suddenly what you were doing completely legally in one place is completely illegal in the other place. It's just...
Well, John, but somebody wrote on paper somewhere that was a case. So, you're a bad person who should leave the country and go to Somalia if you don't like that.
No. Well, what I think you're going to do is just drive from state to state, forth and back. It's like, oh, legal. It's just insane. Like you're just crossing, let's say you're just crossing, just walking over the state border line you're smoking pot, as you walk over the state line, and then suddenly it becomes illegal when you move over at the other side. It's just insanity, all these rules and regulations and laws.
Police want their revenue or the pirates want their revenue.
Well, yeah, of course. And, there's trillions of dollars getting made by all these laws that are put in place. So you become a criminal when you're doing something completely, that are not, in our view, a non-aggression principle. It doesn't aggress against anybody.
It's not coercive.
Yeah, it's not coercive, right? And it's just insane. Now, I've been, thinking about doing something at the border between Canada and the United States because there is a neutral zone in between the two borders. And what I've been thinking about is let's just create a country all the way across in between U.S. and Canada, and let's create a Liberland, and we could just put little huts and stuff, and create a country where everybody could come to and party. We could just be there in the neutral zone, hanging out, doing what's illegal in both of the countries.
Well, I've always seen legalization as taking away a right and giving it back at a price, and that price is extortion, and and even not just. I don't think the government should be involved in any way. Just the prohibition needs to end. But I mean, in Canada, there was a reason legalization, and it's even still. You go to a place like Manitoba, and you walk down the street. You can't. I don't smoke weed, but if you wanted to walk down the street in Manitoba, you couldn't do it and smoke weed because they just banned that. And I mean, well, you can't smoke inside of an apartment you're renting if you're renting an apartment. So where do you do it? Well, I guess you're screwed unless you find some patios or smoke shops somewhere else. I mean, these laws are so futile, so stupid, so annoying, so ridiculous, and it's just gang territory. One gang is competing with another gang, and they don't want you on their turf doing whatever or supporting that other gang. It's so ridiculous, and then they still find ways to extort you all the same.
We need to get away from this belief that we could extort each other with the government. The government is just insane, and it's just becoming bigger and bigger and bigger, and just growing into an oblivious. It's like a balloon that's about to pop, and that's where we're at today. And that's why you see just stupid laws here and there. And you got to remember, all the people that create the laws. Think about the laws at the first. It was just one little paper letter that was the initial laws of both Canada and the United States. The Constitution or whatever it was. And now, you look at the book, it's like as thick as this, and everybody's breaking the law at least once a day minimum, probably like 10, 15, right?
Drive down any highway or any road anywhere, and no one is going exactly the speed limit, or else they're a dick. I mean, I think there's a good point to be made here of, everyone just wants to vote harder, back and forth, vote harder, maybe we'll get change we can believe in. Well, I don't know, well, Trudeau is going to legalize weed, and he has nice hair, maybe we should. I mean, it's so ridiculous. Stop voting in these scumbags. Stop thinking that, we're going to be able to stop this perpetual problem by perpetuating it more, by voting more, by creating the same Hegelian dialectic, problem, reaction, solution, repeat. The answer comes down to you, good people, not the government. Break free from that complete paradigm. Look outside that box. Understand that it comes down to individuals ruling themselves on the free market. Look at this. This guy can't go into the United States and has to go through all these crazy legal mumbo-jumbo craziness, all just to go over a line in the sand where in a country where he invests in a company that's in that country,
providing tax income for the government. It's just
extortion.
Insane. I just got one final thing to say, Josh, and if you put away the mic from my face a little bit, I'm just gonna illustrate what I think about the governments and what they're doing, extorting people's livelihoods all around the world. That's exactly what I think about, and that's what you should think too. It's time to put an end to all this extortion and stealing from you through inflation, through taxation, whatever they do, they constantly steal from you. It's enough. I had enough of them. It's time to, move away from these extortion rackets around the world, destroying our livelihoods and literally killing people.
Unless you have a straw, then you should be thrown in prison. If you're using a straw, that is a serious penalty. And you know what? You are just a fascist, bigoted Nazi if you dare to use a plastic straw. You should use those new sippy cups that Starbucks has that use more plastic.
Yeah, we look all like kids, that's exactly what they want us to be.
And I guess you want a V8. You slapped your head, so we'll be back with much more. I got to get this guy a V8. Thanks for going into this with us, John. And until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson and John Sneisen signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth.
Be the change.
Like what you see here, OM? Don't forget to check the links below. GoFundMe, Patreon. We can't do it without you. Any donation is very much appreciated, especially as we are so overwhelmingly demonetized by YouTube as they bring in the ADL to flag all of our content as hate speech. Also check our Bitcoin address in the description as well as on the screen for you to scan if you please. And also check us out at Steemit at Josh Sigurdson, the future of social media, where you get paid in the upvote of your post in cryptocurrency, Steem that is. So don't forget to check us out there and find us at Anarchapulco 2019. I know it's early, but this is such an exciting event coming up with Ron Paul, Judge Napolitano, David Icke, Larkin Rose, Jeff Berwick, you know, all the usual characters, and it's going to be amazing. So we hope to see you there. Make sure to check the link for Anarchapulco below and use promo code WHAM to save as much as 15% on your tickets. We hope to see you there. But until next time, this is Josh Sigurdson signing out from World Alternative Media. Find the truth, be the change.